Ever feel like the heart of our community gets lost in the noise of the daily news? I'm your host, Pastor James Dimmel, and on the Beyond Belief Incredible Stories of God's Miracles podcast, we're pulling back the curtain on the people and projects making a real difference right here in our backyard. From local leaders to hidden gems, we share the stories that hit home. Join the conversation every month. Search for Beyond Belief Incredible Stories of God's Miracles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, first episode of Beyond Belief podcast. We're excited. I'm here with Pastor James.
I'm very excited.
Perry Smith. We've got a special guest, Tonya Duhl, in the studio today.
Hello.
My name's Matt Lamb, the co-host, and I'm going to turn it over to Jim Bob to give her a little better intro.
I have messed up everybody's world. Everybody knows me as Jim Bob, but when they call me Pastor James, is kind of... Anyway, I want to get started with you because I want to talk about your story. I'm very excited to have you today. And so when I talked to you, you were talking about your unsafe childhood, and we've got a lot to cover, right, in a small time.
Yes.
So I want you just to kind of talk about your story and how God blessed you and touched you and the adversity that you faced that you never thought you'd get over.
Yes. So I grew up like no child should ever have to. Like I feared for my life a lot. It was just very unsafe, and I developed like a deep depression, anxiety, all that good stuff. And I started searching for love in like all the wrong places, all the security and love everywhere else but home.
So what do you think that, that unsafe childhood brought up that anxiety and depression, and where did that lead you to go?
So that led me to running to men's arms, substances, things like that. They even diagnosed me with a suicidal depression when I think I was like 13 or 12.
You were that young?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But I never really wanted to die, but my reality was just unbearable. I just couldn't handle it mentally.
Bad place.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of the scripture in Psalms 27:10. It says, when my father and my mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up.
Yes.
And I thought about that for you. And so you said you had an unprotected childhood. Can you kind of go into detail of what that is? Are you willing to do that?
Yes, I will do that. So my father was an alcoholic. He was always drunk. I remember being in the back seat of the car with him being drunk all over the road. He would be out drinking and us kids would be in the back seat. And I remember one time, like, we were driving down back roads and he hit some man's dog. And this man got in his truck and literally chased us. And my dad and my uncle were just going through fields, like, trying to outrun this man. And they were drunk. Like, I was so afraid. Like, it scared the daylights right out of me. Obviously we got out of that. I don't remember much more than that.
So, did they have the cops come, or like what happens in this story?
Well, my dad and my uncle, they just outran the truck finally.
Away.
Yeah, we just got away. So we lost the truck. And then I don't really remember where we went at that time. My mom and my dad got divorced. My mom promised to take the kids, me and my brother and my sister, and we would all move into a place. Well, she immediately got a new relationship. I did not like that, so I refused to live with her. So
where did you go from there?
I went to my dad's, even though it was unsafe. Like, even though he was always drunk. I remember one time, like, a friend of his beat him up outside of our apartment, and he was drunk, so literally beat the crap out of him in front of my eyes. Like, there was nothing I could do. Like, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade.
At that time, did you have any realization that God was your protector, or did you ever feel him with you, or did you feel like that you wasn't alone, or it didn't come till later?
No, it didn't come till later. Like, I knew that God was real. Like, I remember going to bed every night praying to make me pretty and skinny, because I figured that was the answer to having a better life. Every night I prayed that. But I never had a relationship with God until way later.
So your prayer, well, you didn't know any better. You didn't know
I didn't know any better.
Right? You just prayed what you would pray, and it wasn't,
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the common theme that I'm hearing right now is you're having fear. So this happened from the time you're how old until?
My entire childhood growing up, my father was drunk. I don't remember ages. Like, I just remember one time me and my brother and my sister was asleep. My dad come in drunk and he said he was going to wake us up and bust our butts. My mom wouldn't allow that. I don't remember a time that he wasn't drunk until he got into recovery, which.
So when did you leave home? I mean, when was that? Like, so I got to get out of here. I can't take it anymore.
I think I was like for good. I was about 17 years old.
And do you think that compounded the grief, or like was there a breaking point that he came home one night, he woke you all up, there's a fight or whatever, and he was like, I gotta go?
No. I allowed him to make excuses, and I would make that okay in my mind that how he acted was the best that he could do, and I would rather deal with that than be at home with my mother, with my stepfather, because I hated him, but I had no reason to. It's just I just placed the blame on him for my parents being divorced, and just even though it was better for me to be there, I just refused to be there. It was like defiant, I guess. So, yeah.
So then today's your mom's birthday.
Today is my mom's birthday.
And
yes.
You lost your mom. So has that been hard for you today? And then you know that you're going to come on here and talk about it.
Actually, no. I've been looking forward to that because my mom did the best she could too either, but she was good to us kids, I remember growing up, her and my dad would be down, the neighbors, they both would be drunk. But my mother never harmed us. Like, I just refused to be there because of my stepdad for no good reason. No good reason. But I was looking forward today, kind of like a good birthday gift for my mom. I pray that I've made her proud, Just pray that I've made her proud.
I'm sure you have. And so, what can you say about your mom? Do you want to say something amazing about your mom? Because it sounds like she was amazing in your life.
She was. I love my mom. My mom was a wonderful mom. She always made sure I was loved, and she did the best she could with my dad. I think that's why they got divorced. But when I was at her home, I was taken care of. I was loved. I had everything I needed. I guess I was defiant and refused to live there with my stepdad. But my mother was a wonderful mother.
That's sometimes, like, when you're a kid, you don't realize that your parents are trying to protect you. You think they're just being mean.
Right.
And that causes so many issues. But
yes.
So you lose your mom, you and your husband get married, and then you have an issue with your daughter.
Oh, yeah. So you just want to start with, like, let's just back up just a little bit. Okay. So, like,
this is your story, girl. You tell it.
I did finally leave home, and I got with my husband.
Okay.
I got pregnant with my first child. I think I was pregnant 2 or 3 months. We'd just known for a week. Mm-hmm. My mom had planned everything out to go to all my doctor's appointments, just everything. And a week later, she was killed in a tragic accident by a drunk driver, and she burnt in the vehicle.
So this is traumatic.
Very traumatic.
Your dad's an alcoholic. Your mom leaves him.
Mm-hmm.
Then she dies because an alcoholic hit her.
Yes.
I mean, is that not like the craziest thing?
It is the craziest thing. Like,
did that make you mad at God? Did you feel like it was his fault?
I was mad at God for a while. I don't remember a whole lot of thoughts, but I was mad, like, definitely. Because my mother was a beautiful, wonderful person. She was the sweetest, she was just the greatest person ever. Like, everybody should have had my mom for a mom. That's mm-hmm. the way I feel. And then for her to be taken out the way that she was very, it was just horrible. Like, she was burnt unrecognizable in that vehicle. So, and that messed my head up so bad. Really bad.
And so, did you feel like that was a farther diversion from God?
It was, yeah. Yeah, because how could he allow that to happen to such a beautiful person? Like, she was beautiful inside and out,
Okay, and then, so you get married?
Yes.
And then, what happens from there?
Well, we just live life, We moved away to Tennessee, had our second child down in Nashville. She was born and she got brain damage.
Well, do you feel like so when you moved to Tennessee, do you feel like everything got better, or do you feel like?
So I was functioning, okay. I was debilitated a lot with depression and anxiety, but on my bad days that I couldn't get up, couldn't do anything, my husband just took care of everything and worked a full-time job. So I had mental problems that kept me down a lot and kept me secluded because I didn't want to be around people, and I was always afraid of the next freak accident killing another family member. Always afraid of that because of what happened to my mom. So yeah, when my second child was born, she got brain damage and she almost died. She was in the
Right.
hospital for 40 some days, and the doctor said if she survived, she wouldn't do anything but sit around, lay around, and watch TV. That's all she could do.
Are we allowed to tell her name?
Yes,
Leah.
yes.
Wonderful Leah. We love her at the church, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Very much so.
And so I call her Hey Hey
Wonderful.
because every time she wants to talk to me, she says, Hey, 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 hey.
Yes. She's always hey and people.
And I'll say, My name's Jim Bob, and she'll say, I know. Which I love that.
Yes.
And so then you have what did they diagnose her with?
She had temporal lobe brain damage,
Okay.
and so they won't actually diagnose her with anything because it's actual legitimate brain damage. But she lived with seizures for the first 12, 13 years of her life, like constant seizures. She was on seizure medication. She's been delayed a great deal. Like she couldn't eat or talk until about 4 years old. She was on a bottle.
Okay.
So she's just been like severely delayed, but she's definitely surpassed what the doctors laid on her and said that she couldn't do.
Yeah.
You know, but we've done a lot of therapies with her. Like I was really hands-on with that kid. Like, you know.
So you get away from a shaky situation. You go to do you describe this situation as first time you're getting your feet on the ground and then you have your first child and everything goes okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Leah and everything goes, it's a disaster again.
Yes.
And so we go from one shaky situation to the next.
Yes.
Right. And okay, is God anywhere to be found there?
Right, exactly. Where is he? Because like there's like another, I don't know if you could actually label it as a freak accident, but you're about to take my baby from me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's got severe like brain damage and all these things, and it's scary. It was really scary. Really scary. But
she quit having seizures. Did they change her medicine or how did that?
She, from what I'm understanding about her, is like, so the seizures were because she's constantly growing and the damaged brain tissue was growing. So therefore it was causing her to seize. Like her seizures never stayed the same either. Like they could just be in her leg and her arm. Some of them, sometimes it would take over her whole body. It would go into her lungs, like always different. One day the school bus, like the little lights on the school bus, like the little foggers, sent her into a seizure.
That's scary.
You know, but right about 12, 13 years old, she has not had any since, where she's not on medication, no nothing. So
then we're still talking about God as your ultimate protector.
Yeah.
But I want to add something to the story because everybody's like, it can't get any worse, right?
Right.
But it does.
It does.
Because you're dealing with all these things, and are you able to put anything together with this traumatic past that you've dealt with your family, and then your husband, then you add your daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to kind of like put that in the past, or are you still
Oh no, I still struggle. Like I struggled really bad. Like my children, they were not allowed to go swimming because I was scared to death that they were going to drown. Like all the fun things, I was scared to death was going to kill them. So anytime that my husband really, really wanted to take them swimming or do fun things, they would have to go without me. And I would stay at home.
Handle it.
I could not handle it. And I would freak plumb out. I would go into anxiety attacks, like just bad. So I would just stay at home, let them go, and I'd have my little freakouts at home alone while they're having fun.
So, like, to be here today is like a huge improvement.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
talk about that in a minute. But so there's this traumatic turn.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So, I think Leah was about 7 years old and Izzy was 12. My husband had a massive heart attack in front of my eyes, and just I watched the life leave his eyes, and he hit the floor dead. There was literally nothing I could do to save him.
Just lifeless. Just see him.
And he was a healthy man. He built homes. He's got centerfolds in Kentucky Home and Garden. Like, he was a very healthy man. Nothing wrong with him. And just one morning he woke me up. He woke me up at 2:15 a.m. on September 3rd. He said, honey, I've got heartburn. I've got heartburn real bad. I said, okay. So I got up with him. We sat down on the sofa. It was like literally 15 minutes later, he goes, honey, I think it's leaving now. I said, oh, good. And bam, he hit the floor dead. And that was it.
Were you still in Tennessee then?
Kentucky. We left Tennessee and came to Kentucky.
But you were still away from
yes.
family and home.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
But that had to reinforce your anxiety too.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
So you live your life with all this fear and depression and anxiety and
yeah.
something's going to happen to my kids and something's going to, and so then and every time it just reinforces it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And where is God?
Where is he?
Right? Okay. So I want to read you another scripture.
Okay.
And I know you love the scriptures because we're going to get
I
to the
do.
good part in a minute,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And so Isaiah 53:3 says he is despised. And I just thought about your husband. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And I thought about your family and all of that. Do you have anything to say about that, or you want to keep going with
No,
the
you
story?
keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you become a captive to all this. Can I say it that way?
Yes.
You're not just a
Yes.
victim anymore.
No.
Now you're captive to all
Yeah.
of these things that are happening.
Well, yes. I'm
Yeah.
not complete captive just yet,
Okay.
but I do become complete captive. Yeah.
But
there's
you're
a couple more
having a
things.
hard time getting out of the house.
Oh,
did,
yeah.
did you work?
No, I was a stay-at-home mom.
So you didn't have to leave.
Nope, didn't have to.
And you built this shelter around your. Now, what happens when the kids go to school? What kind of anxiety is this for you?
I would just sleep.
Did you have trouble with them going to school, like being at school? And
No, not much. Not really.
that's because you were just asleep.
Yeah, I was asleep. Like, I would sleep a lot. Like, that's how I got through things. I mean, if you're asleep and you're not worrying, you're not stressed out, you're,
Just out of it.
yeah.
So your husband passes away. You're in Kentucky.
Yes.
You're spiraling out of control. And I'm going to put it this way, just for time's sake, you become a captive victim. And then you're in Virginia Beach.
Yes.
So how did you go from Kentucky to Virginia Beach?
Well, 11 months after my husband passed, I went to Virginia Beach just to release his ashes off the pier.
Okay.
And I was there for a few days, and then I fell victim to someone targeting me. They roofied raped me and almost killed me.
Okay. Now hang on a minute.
So,
Because this is something we need to have your movie, right? Movie rights, the whole 9 yards, because it sounds like it's too bad to be real,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so, how long were you, you had to go to the hospital?
Yes.
How long did you have to be in there an extended period of time?
No.
They just went through all the stuff that they do.
Yes.
And so all this trauma that you have is now compounded.
Yes, and that's where I really questioned where God was, because I'm like, how do you allow this to happen?
Right.
Like, how? Because I was not a bad person. I was a very good person. And here I am, all this stuff just happening to me, and it's like, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with God? Where is he?
Okay, so you're asking the question, where is he, right?
Yeah.
At this time, because you didn't really feel him before, you felt like you were on your own, and then you start asking the question, where is God? Why is he not helping me?
Yes.
If there is a God, because there's I hope that this gets out to people, there are so many people that I've talked to that are like, where is God?
Yeah.
Where was God? If there is a God, right, why did he let this happen to me?
Yes.
And so your story sounds like it's just a traumatic event, but you get to tell your story, right? And so it goes from all of those questions that people ask,
Yes.
and it turns to good.
Yes.
Okay, so we're in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
We're having all of these issues, and then can I say that, and I know you know this now, but you know that Jesus is acquainted with grief. And you're having all this grief because of all these things that are happening, and then you start to get, after you go to the hospital and you get released, you start to have physical symptoms because you go from being captive to be like a shut-in, right?
Yes.
Okay, you want to tell that?
Well, some of the physical symptoms actually happened after my husband died. Softball size hair would just fall out of my head.
Did you pull your hair out, or did
no,
it just fell out?
It just fell out, just big, just come out. I lost a lot of weight. I ended up with pneumonia, just constant sickness. When my hair started to grow back in, it grew back in white. Softball size spots grew in white. It was like Cruella de Vil kind of, but just in spots. It was kind of cool looking, but it was weird.
I was
Super
going to
weird.
say I'm going to get you my pretty, but that is the witch off the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Not cool.
But
Yes.
your body was having a physical reaction.
Yes, it was having a physical reaction. Like, I really was wondering if I was going to die from the grief. I really did.
So did you
'Cause I
lose
was
weight
so
because
sick.
of it?
Yes, yep. All
So-
because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got hair loss, you got
Weight loss,
what
pneumonia,
else?
sickness, all that was just piling up on me.
So you got your family to take care of, but you can't work.
No, yeah. But see, I ended up with like so I got paid after my husband passed away, like I got paid for taking care of Leah. So all I did was fill out these paperwork and like they
Okay.
were paying me for to take care of her. Plus she got SSI, and then also we drew SSI from my husband, survivor's benefits. So I was fine.
But I don't think people realize that, like, when you experience grief, it's like a whole body experience.
Yes, it is.
And they don't get that. Do you want to
No.
talk about that a little bit?
Well, I mean,
Because for you, it was like debilitating.
it was very debilitating.
How long?
That's actually a good question. Like, I spent years debilitated in some form by the anxiety and the depression and all that. After my husband and the sexual assault, that's when the PTSD started in there too. Like I couldn't do anything. Like, I was literally stuck in my bed just crying, and like my body would hurt, like my brain, it was just like a roller coaster of emotions, like I was feeling all these emotions that I didn't agree with them. I didn't think they were right. Like, sometimes I'd be happy, sometimes I'd be sad, sometimes I'd be scared, sometimes I'd be mad. It's like, where is all this coming from and why? And I didn't agree with it. So it was just everywhere. I don't know. I sought out methamphetamine to get me up out of bed finally. Because I started having nightmares too about the sexual assault.
That's a wrap on this episode of Beyond Belief Podcast. We want to hear from you. What's happening in your corner of the world? Reach out to us on social media and let us know. If you loved what you heard, please take the like button down, spin it around, and put it back. Then subscribe and tell all your friends. I'm your co-host, Matt Lamb. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next episode.